Happens when the dream of being on TV turns into a nightmare. This story is about a man who wanted fame so badly that it cost someone their life. Today, on Crime and Mystery Vault, we dive into a chilling case of lies, obsession, and a tragic end that shocked an entire community. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a mystery like this. David Trons was a 50-year-old stay-at-home husband who had one big goal. He wanted to be on television. In April 2018, he finally got the chance of a lifetime. He and his wife, 39-year-old financial consultant Shanti Cooper, were set to be featured on the reality show Zombie House Flipping as they renovated their home. But there was a problem. Shanti didn't share David's excitement. She refused to sign off on the show's release forms, which meant David's big dream was about to fall apart. The next morning, tragedy struck. Shanti was found dead, and what unfolded over the next few hours would turn this case into a true crime story that still leaves people stunned. David called 911 around 3:50 p.m., claiming he had just found Shanti unconscious in the bathtub. When first responders arrived, they saw David frantically performing CPR in the living room. His story was that he found her face down in water, bleeding from her nose and mouth. Police escorted David to the station as a witness. They swapped his blood-stained clothes for a custody jumpsuit, gave him some water, and placed him in an interview room, alone, for over 4 hours. Now, imagine this. You just found your spouse dead, you're locked in a cold room for hours, and no one's telling you what's happening. Most people would be demanding answers. David, he quietly waited, politely asked to use the restroom, and even apologized for bothering the officers. Detectives finally entered the room at 9:08 p.m. They were friendly, even sympathetic, but they already suspected David of either first or second-degree murder. They needed him to talk, and talk he did. David explained how he met Shanti on Match.com back in 2013. Within months, he moved to Florida to be with her, and they eventually bought a house together. But strangely, David had put the house under his and his mother's names, leaving Shanti out of the ownership paperwork. He said this was for financial planning, though it's unclear whether Shanti truly agreed to this decision. Detectives kept him calm, asking about their life together, their arguments, and their plans for the house. David insisted that he and Shanti were happy, despite the occasional fights over renovations. But as the interview went on, cracks began to appear in his story. When asked about the last time he saw Shanti alive, David claimed she went to the dentist and he went for a walk. When he returned, he said he found water running upstairs, went to investigate, and discovered Shanti face down in the tub. He described in detail how he pulled her out, all while casually crunching on crackers given to him by police. The detectives weren't buying it. The bathroom carpet wasn't wet, the scene didn't match his story, and Shanti's injuries were far too severe to be from a simple fall. So they turned up the pressure. They asked him directly, "Did you hurt Shanti? Did you strangle her? Did you hit her?" Each time, David said no. Detectives then pointed out the biggest issue. Shanti was likely dead before David left the house that morning. If he was telling the truth, it was impossible. Hours passed. David fake cried multiple times, but not a single tear ever came. Detectives noticed and told him outright, "Greater than, you fake cried for hours today. Not once did a tear come out. Not on this scene, not in this room. Not once." By 5 a.m., David had no answers and no confession. He was released, but the case wasn't over. 4 months later, a grand jury indicted him for murder. He was arrested at his mother's house. When confronted with the evidence, David suddenly began behaving erratically and tried to claim insanity. He spent 5 years in a maximum security psychiatric facility before being declared competent to stand trial. During the trial, prosecutors argued that David killed Shanti after a heated argument about their house renovation and his TV appearance. They pointed out that an intruder wouldn't have taken the time to strangle her, stage the body, leave no signs of forced entry, and take nothing. After a 6-day trial, the jury reached its decision. David Trons was guilty of murdering Shanti Cooper. And that is the heartbreaking story of a man whose thirst for attention ended in tragedy. If you want to hear more true crime stories like this, make sure you subscribe to Crime and Mystery Vault and turn on notifications, so you never miss our next deep dive into the darkest corners of human behavior.